colors and text is displayed on the website, or another theme called editor has a kind of a special function for pull quotes. So that's an example of what a theme would do. And this is something that I would like to do for my own homepage. That is the homepage format of the Maxwell Premium theme. One of the challenges is you just don't want how this is going to look on a desktop. You want how it's going to look on my mobile phone or my tablet. So the design may vary. And you have to think of multiple platforms. So I've done the same thing for. You can look at these at your leisure on photo sites. The same kind of format, content, themes you would employ, some sample sites. What does a theme do? The typical aspect of many sites is, well, how do you want the photos displayed? Do you want a grid kind of a format, or do you want no seam in between the photos? Well, that's something a WordPress theme would help you do. Nonprofit, some sample links, some themes I'd recommend. A theme called organization provides a 3-column format, and small business. There's a natural hair salon company that's promoted on the WordPress.com site. That's a more modern look and feel to it. That's their link. There's a coffee site. I was many years ago a volunteer in Columbia with the Peace Corps. This Pacha Co-op markets coffee from small farmers around the world. Here in the U.S. And there's some other examples. Suggested themes, functionality. Okay, so the handouts I provided, the page 1 is self-help. I'm hoping to give you sort of basic tips to just create an site yourself. Number 2 on the back is if folks are interested in me helping you over the next few weeks, stand up a site. It would include one coaching session, either live or virtual, and I also plan to do a webinar. I think the date is November 20th. It's in the handout. 21st. I believe it's a Thursday. So if anyone's interested in the webinar, you have my email on either the handouts or the business card. Just let me know, and I need to know who the people would be to sort of prove it.
Gary, what platform will you use for the webinar?
Google Meet. I've used Hangouts in the past, and what's going away or is gone away. So that will be the application.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Can you make this presentation available to us to apply?
Well, it's on the web. There's a link.
Okay.
The website that I'll show that in a minute. The website.
Should be on the podcast. Ask about. Should be on the
I think it's the
podcast.
top
It'll be on
of
that.
one of your handouts. wpweb4pro.wordpress.com has the slides, has the handout, has other stuff. So it's all there.
Gary, what we will also do is send an after meeting thing around with a link to it to be sure everyone has it.
Sure.
And just to remind everybody that because of Dante's terrific camera work, we will have in Dale's post-processing, we'll have a wonderful podcast of this meeting, video podcast on the PI website and member services.
How long does it take to get on the website?
Usually it's a several week, maybe a month delay between meeting and when it's fully up. Please.
Now, the other thing I've done that I think will be useful to you is I talked about the planning steps to do this, and step by step, do a site map. So I've done an example. This is a fictitious example called Jet Tech. You can see from my business card, I'm fascinated with drones. So Jet Tech is a computer repair person. His name is Clyde, and he wants to deliver computer repair to homes throughout the DC area. That's the business model. So I've done all the planning process, and I've filled out the form that I'm asking you to fill out for Clyde and his company. So that in brief is what the business plan is. The other thing I think you find useful, by the way, this process is, whether it's WordPress or any platform, any kind of website you want to do, these steps I think are generally helpful for any kind of platform. Look at other websites. So for this guy, it's computer stuff. So, well, I looked at Geek Squad. And so what did I like about the Geek Squad site? That is a snapshot of their homepage. I like the fact that, there's it kind of shows the people. I like the colors. The blue is one of my favorite colors. I like the setup, install setup. I like kind of the layout. But you can look at many other websites. I could look at Pachamama, the coffee company. I could look at the hair salon. They're going to have different ways of expressing stuff on the web. So you look at any kind of a site to give you ideas. That's a helpful exercise for you. The other thing, and this is built into the form, you need a sitemap. Okay, so the stuff has to be organized. You can do this as a flow chart, or you can do it as a topic, subtopical outline like we did in high school. So I've done one for this imaginary company. So forget about the website, just get out a piece of paper or a Word document and write it down. What is the headings or subheadings of the content? Another concept in WordPress are categories and tags. So any of the dynamic post information, you can filter it automatically. I think we've all seen this on websites. You click on a tag and you get all the stuff related to that tag. That's a very powerful way for people to find information on your website. So if you have ideas of what your tags might be for the content, you could list them as well in this outline, as well as what the social media links would be. And then I did something called a mood board. Anybody can do this. I did a branding course at CalArts online. It's marvelous. And this is one of the techniques that they recommend. How many folks are familiar with Pinterest? Okay, it's out there. A lot of people use Pinterest. You just collect stuff from the web. I was looking for stuff on sort of a technology tech for this computer company. And you just assemble all these images on Pinterest. And then, now I used, it's a tool called Adobe InDesign, which is probably not worth it. It can be expensive. You can do this on a Word doc or PowerPoint or the Google equivalent. I just cut and paste all these images on one page. So that's what a mood board is. So this is a brainstorming exercise. It'll give you ideas for color. See, I found that. Now, you also have limitation on the WordPress.com. You can't have just any font in the world. You can't have just any color in the world, but you're given options. So this is a way to really open up your imagination to what you might like your site to look like in terms of layout, color, dynamism kind of images. There's some cartoons here, so that was also a choice. We'll see the site later. I was thinking, well, gee, do I want to use cartoons? Some sites do that. But that's not the mood that Clyde, it's a business. He's selling business. It's technology. So it seemed like, I think I've got an image there of, some drones. It seemed like for his business, well, it's the drone business, so I need an icon of a drone. So that makes sense. So you think through the wide potential, but then you discipline yourself. How do I apply all these ideas and imagery to what I want to do in my site? Okay, and that's a screenshot of the site. I'll try to see actually get to the site itself in a minute. So I've used the drone icon. I have Clyde front and center. I've used my sitemap to do my tabs across the top. Okay, so you use this prior planning process, your basic requirements, purpose, your sitemap, your mood board, your look and feel, and you apply that to actually doing the darn website. So you do all that stuff up front. So now you have a concept, you have an idea of what you want to do. Now, the big chunk of work is learning. So you gotta, in a way, it's kind of artistic, right? Or scientific, organizing information. So you've done all this planning process. Now the issue is, how do I translate this using WordPress software to get that result? And that takes a lot of work. You're gonna have to kind of learn how, and those of you who stay for the demo, I'll give you more of a feel for exactly how a WordPress dashboard works. So that's where kind of the work will come in. Now, bare bones, what you don't have to fill out a 17-question form for me to help you with a website. To set up an account, I need 5 pieces of information. I need an email address and password. Now, there are 6 steps when you do a WordPress account. 6 screens, and you fill them out. So one of the screens is what the kind of site. You just kind of pick one. What's the blog about? You have to have a name, which will be the URL, be the site address. So it's on their platform. So unless you buy a domain, it's going to be .wordpress.com or .blog. It'll be one of their assigned domains.
Gary?
You can't get a domain and pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. With the free WordPress, can you use a domain you've registered as the domain for it?
You can, but I think it's a paid account. You can't have a free account.
You can't do it for free.
Pardon?
You can't do it for free.
No. So now, paid account is $5, $8 a month. It's not much, but most people have something, right? They have some kind of a website. They've got content out there, and they want to migrate. That's not uncommon. And they have a domain maybe associated with the account. Well, to do that, you have to have a paid account to make the transfer. But they will transfer the domain for you. It's fairly straightforward. Yeah.
So if I already have an org domain, can I use it on the com? Oh,
Yep.
okay, good.
Yeah, it's more common. People will do this as the easy way into WordPress, and they kind of graduate and they say, okay, I want a much more robust, complex. I'm going to hire a developer, and they go to .org, and they make the transfer from .com to .org. But you can go both ways, or you can some other platform, Squarespace or Wix or whatever it is. But you may need a tool. The migration is not as easy within the WordPress, but you can migrate. And their help to do that is very, very helpful. So I'll need your site name and access and email. The one wrinkle in this is you got to, like a lot of accounts, you have to confirm it. So it's not really fully functional unless you get an email and you activate the account. So that even with the sites we'll set up here today, that has to take place. I will show this to people who are setting up an account. It's easier. I can set up an account for you and transfer it, but it's more, and I've done that, but it's more complicated. It's easier, I think, from the get-go. It's your account. So your account, your email. Then if you want me to help you, either virtually in person, make me a guest administrator, and I'll show you how to do that. That I think will work. So it's your account. After you're done with me, you can change your password. So you give me access as administrator to do whatever, to either help you or do some show and tell, and how your account will work. The other thing that I think could be handy is you can have many free sites. You don't have. I've got, I think, a couple dozen fooling around with this thing. So once you have a WordPress.account, you can have 1 blog, 2 blogs, 3 sites, 10 sites. It's limitless.
Why did you do that?
That's a good question. If you're an organization, you may have different channels. There may be a business reason. You as an individual, there is one good reason, I think, that is the training site. And we did this with this organization, the nonprofit of Virginia. So if you're because you can delete the site. you're the administrator, you can set up your site, and you make a mistake and you delete it. I think it's recoverable by WordPress.com, but I wouldn't want to test it. So if you want to just kind of fool around, one way to do this is you open up your site that you're really going to, for real, launch someday, and you open up a second site as a sort of a sandbox. Yes?
Just an aside, another reason to have multiple sites is that you're trying to get people to go to your site, and the more traffic you have, the more links you have, the happier Google is. So it can help you a lot.
For you to have multiple sites?
Yeah, to have the things linked together, not just have the site, but have the sites.
Oh, yeah.
That you're sharing links. It says that you're a good citizen on the web.
Uh-huh.
And this way you're controlling it, and you can make sure the links stay updated.
Yeah. Well, this gets to the idea of you want to link to all these social media applications that you have, and don't have your website in isolation. In general, you want to economize. There's no need to have several WordPress sites. But this training, have something for training that you just fool around with. You can roll up layouts or do whatever you want. It's a useful training device. And seem to work for the nonprofit that I work with. So if you want to do a site, it's very easy. Within the dashboard, you go add new site, do the same steps. What's the kind of site? Give it a name, blah, blah, blah. And you have that capability. There's some, you can go to meetups, WordCamps in the area. You can do polls. It's a part of the functionality on WordPress. You can give me an evaluation of this presentation. There's the link, and the link is also on the WordPress reference site that WP Web for Pro, whose link is on the handout. There's a DC meetup. It's free. It's near DuPont Circle. It's held the evening of November 19th. Those are the details. They tend to be a little bit more technical. You have to kind of get into this to want to go. WordCamps, on the other hand, tend to be very, very user-friendly. There used to be one in Baltimore every year. They kind of got out in the habit. The next one in our area, I believe, will be Lancaster, Pennsylvania, next spring, the spring of 2020. They have something called a happiness bar, where people who are expert in this will just, any question you have. It's a very sort of understanding community to help new people get the hang of things. So I would really recommend.
Who organizes these?
They're volunteer. There's a symbiosis between, it's like any application, it's a business, it's open source, and it's free. So there are people who market and sell themes. They market and sell plugins. They are hosting companies for WordPress sites. They are WordPress developers selling their services. So there's a sort of a business, but that's combined big time with just people are in it for the love of it. They volunteer time to improve and develop the code for WordPress open source software. So they're both these elements, both business and volunteer. In WordCamps, the atmosphere is just great. It's very open and very interesting. Okay, here's some support. Some other slides. Hopefully this is a big improvement from the laundry list that I gave at the PATEX presentation. These are the best reference links I've found on some of the key aspects of doing a website. First one is icon mouse. You get free icons. Okay, you want to have icons as part of your design to dress up your site. They're free. I think there are others out there that do free icons. So that's one example. There's something called WordPress TV. Just Google it. And again, I said there's a learning curve on this. So you can do virtually. So you can, they've got videos of all these WordCamps from all around the world, all these presenters. And I've selected just a few that I think are very good. So there's one on how to design a website in WordPress. They're very, very well done. I think there's 2 parts, they're like a half hour each. There's another, Miss Eggleston, has done a video on how to shoot better photos, good photos. just an hour, less than an hour. The folks, infographics are not difficult to do. So depending on what you're trying to accomplish, trying to get data reflected in a graphic, in a sort of a picture format, you can create those, and there are lots of tools to do them. SCORE with the Small Business Administration has an excellent series of videos. The link is on the right. They're free. They're 45 minutes to an hour. They cover everything, marketing, but they also cover a lot of IT stuff. One of the videos was on how to do an infographic. It's very, very well done. Lorem Ipsum, it's dummy. How many people speak Latin? It's dummy Latin text. It's a Latin text generator. So if you're doing a site, when you're designing it, well, you may not have all the content. You want to know, well, how does a post look? Or how does a page look? The headings, I want to insert photos. You're still sort of designing. This is dummy text. It just generates Latin text, and you just cut and paste. It can be very handy. Looka is a built-in designer of logos for many WordPress themes. A couple, 3 that I did for this presentation that's built in. They're simple. They're not very elaborate. You can certainly pay somebody who's a graphic artist to do one for you. But this is something at relatively low cost. You just sort of buy off the shelf. I took one of these CalArts courses on graphic design. It was excellent. There's another one on UI, UX, user interface, user experience, design specialization. It's absolutely top-notch, done by CalArts in California. So if you're gung-ho on this, and you really want to learn more about design, or learn more about website development and WordPress generally, it's not WordPress.com specific. Those courses are, a Coursera subscription is $50 a month. It's nothing, but you have a lot of time. It's 5 or 6 courses. The videos are excellent. The slides are excellent, and the students are all around the world. So it's really peer. They give you a grade, and some of these people who are students are showing their work. It's fascinating. It's very.
Karen?
Yeah.
Have you looked at lynda.com? That has a wealth of training information, which is free, usually through a library account. And that might equal what you could get in Coursera, but not cost you anything. Have you looked at lynda.com?
Not recently. That's certainly, and there are other sort of resources out there. Getting back, and as a matter of fact, they also have a whole suite of WordPress sites. And you can go on the web and just go WordPress video, and there's a gazillion on YouTube. However, I would recommend, particularly WordPress.com, or getting into the specific application, use their stuff. So WordPress.com, they got videos. They're already built in. They've got this knowledge base. They've got this chat feature. They got a gazillion. There's no reason. You can, if you have a real problem, you just search on the web. And even though it's not WordPress.com specific, it's still WordPress software. And you may get all kinds of different answers or ways to do something. But yes, there are other ways to learn. Question in the back?
No, I was going to say, lynda.com is now changed. It's LinkedIn Learning, but it's all the same stuff.
Okay. So
Could you repeat what comes from the back of the room so people?
I'm sorry, it's changed?
Actually, it got bought out by, it's now called LinkedIn Learning.
Okay. Very good, very good. And then the last thing that's useful is, I said I'm a project manager. There's a great volunteer, if any of you have backgrounds in project management, it's a volunteer event. It's held once a year on the Saturday of Martin Luther King weekend. And so if any of you have an organization, small business, nonprofit, volunteer group, and it's categorized as a nonprofit, they will help you for free for a day, a team of project managers to basically do a business. And I've done it a few times. It's an excellent event. They do it every year. So the next one will be January next year. The organization Rest in Use that does service exchange, sort of pro bono community exchange of services in Virginia. And I was flattered to have the opportunity to work with them. It was great group. They went to this event. And they went to this event early in planning our website. So this helped them. Again, it gets to the idea, what is the purpose? What is the mission, either of you personally or the organization? What are you trying to do? What is the content? What are your end results in terms of, more members or impacting the community? What are you trying to accomplish? So this group, Project Management Day of Service, they get volunteer, they get like about 40 or 50 nonprofits and like 100, 120 volunteer project managers. So they get teams that will help they divide it up by tables. And in the course of the day, the nonprofit will get a business plan. So you can't beat it if you're an organization. And if a website is something as an organization you want to do, then an exercise like that will help you on the planning and the content and the mission that would make the website much more effective. And then just lastly, that's my contact information. That is the reference site. It's on your handout, wpweb4pro.wordpress.com. Slides are there, the handouts are there with the clickable links. All the stuff is there. And then I like drones. In my next iteration of the business card, I'll have those WordPress logos hanging off of it. Another thing on images. I think I had it somewhere. Where do you get free images? So Pixabay is a good source for free images. Creative Commons is also a very extensive source, but I don't think the quality is kind of uneven. That being said, the window image I got off creative.com, and the drones I bought, well, I didn't buy them. Adobe stock image is another good source. They have first class. I mean, the image is really first class. Now they're generic. There's a case to be made. Use your own unique photography flair. Many people will say that. You want something unique on your website, as long as it meets a standard. But there's also a case to be made for using generic, kind of mood, evocative, very professionally laid out photography. Adobe stock is excellent.
Can that be freely modified, or what constraints are there?
Yeah, you either buy it or get a free trial. There's a license, so look at the license. But yeah, generally, you modify it, you do whatever you want with it. The benefit is you can, what I did for this training exercise in graphic arts, we did a branding presentation for this imaginary drone company. You could get a free trial of 10 images. So you sign up for a month, you got a max of 10, you don't pay anything, they want your credit card. You don't pay anything. And then at the end of the month, they cancel. So I got 10 images. So that's where the drone came from. Matter of fact, both drones came from Adobe stock, and some other, the photo of Clyde came from Adobe stock. So how many images do you need for the look and feel and layout of a website? Probably not many. 10 would probably do it. So Adobe stock is another good. So I've got three here credits on some of the images that I used. Okay, 3 annexes you can look at your leisure. So I'll just give you a feel for this. These are the screenshots. You can do this yourself. It's Computer Club. You can stand up a site. Okay. There are 6 official steps from WordPress.com to get an account and stand up a site. Step 1, you gotta log in and get a password like anything. Step 2, kind of site. Click on it. Now you think ahead of time, what do you want, right? Just make your choice. What's the site about? To drill a little bit further. What's the name of the site? Now, when you pick the name, okay, the name could be different on the web page from the URL address, okay? Or they can be the same. So I divided step 5, into 2. You pick an address. So I was originally thinking of WordPressForEveryone.com. Nope, it's taken. It's not available. So, or they'll give you numbers or letters, just like if you're getting an email address, right? So you have to work with, if you want a free site, change the name or add digits or whatever. But you can probably get a fairly decent name. Now it's going to say .wordpress.com or .blog. It's a free account. But you get a fairly decent name. So I got WP Web 4 Pro. That's not bad. So you have to kind of play with it to make sure you get a free account. Otherwise, you have to pay for the domain. Okay? So match it to a free domain, pick a plan, ignore the big blocks. You pay for the account, go up and circle it in red, free account. So you may want a paid. I have an $8 premium account, which gives me more themes. It gives me more capability, bigger size. There are advantages to doing. But start out with my recommendation: start out with a free account. Okay, you've got a site. You have a site. You have a website. There's some more things to do that check. Now they want you to start filling it out. So what's an image for the homepage, the tagline, confirming your email address is very important. It's not really going to be functional. And then, quote, launch your site. Now, you can launch the site, meaning it's on the web and anybody can see it, but you can go back in the settings and still make it private or still make it hidden, which is kind of a compromise. Google search cannot find it. So that's a beauty of the application is early on, you don't want to share this all over the place. You can always go into settings and sort of retrench and make this kind of private, or you can share it selectively with other people to view. That's what the site looks like. They'll just pick a theme for you. I think this is Maywood. They'll just pick one, but you can pick anything. You can go into themes. A lot of this, if you use LinkedIn or Facebook or anything else, the WordPress application is menu driven. So when you get on the dashboard, so you're going to heading 1, subheading, okay, look to theme, activate theme. So it's all menus. And once you get the hang of it, start working with it, you get more comfortable with how this kind of menu driven application works. Then I've added, those are the 6 steps on the WordPress.com account. I've added 2. You have to have an email confirmation. So you set the darn thing up, they're going to send an email, confirm. So you have to answer it to activate the account. And then the other is the fun stuff. You got to fill it, you got to design the site. So a skeletal site with a few headings is a breeze. This is where all the work comes in. So you got all this content, you got these photos, all the stuff that you want to do. They have a very helpful, this is the beginning of it, long email. Gee, do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do this? Link here. Do you want to go to Blogging University and have a course with your peers on how to do a WordPress.com? So it gives all the handy links. It's fairly long, but it's useful. Okay. It's useful sort of guides. You don't have to, but it's useful to get you started. And then this is just short. This nonprofit I worked with in Virginia. This is what their old website looked like. Again, this is kind of a case study. What were they trying to do? It was a community time bank, about 100 members. They had they went the opposite way. They had a .org site that was not very user friendly. There was a goal, lessons learned. That was a new site. This uses the Rowling theme. It's free, but we had to do a change of site ownership, kind of a quasi-migration, so they had to pay for an account. But the Rowling is a free theme. It's a free theme that's not available on WordPress. Let's see. Yes, it is available on WordPress. And this will wrap it up. My last is migration. If you're into WordPress.org, you really want to do that, Here's just a few slides on the pro con. You need a host, a link, generate press, premium templates. You can do lots of more powerful things with host. That's it.
This has been fabulous, Gary. Thanks so much. So, folks, those who want to stay for the pizza lunch will go do that. But before we do that, Cheryl, please come up. I think Len left and will come back. But congratulations on winning the raffle for the September meeting. Yes, thank you. And let me go back to my Sheets app. The good news about the iPad is that I can, with the Sheets app, generate the raffle winners. This time, though, I didn't do it asking Siri because I didn't want to disturb the presentation. So I did it the old-fashioned way. So today's winners are Jim Carr and Ron Shansby. Jim Carr, yeah, step on up, and Ron. Here you go.
Thank you.
Jim.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
But I think you should thank the Google random number generator in this instance. Okay, folks, thanks everyone for coming today. And
Jonathan,
yes.
before you go, I would like to
Please,
thank
Ralph.
Gary, and we're gonna offer a free T-shirt. I'll talk to him after, and hopefully I've got them in the car. If anyone else would like to buy one, or I know there were some people that wanted me to get one, they're $20. We have a supply, but not all sizes, but I am going to place another order. So if you let me know specifics, I'll be happy to make sure the next time we place an order that we get the right stock. They're available in red, blue, gray. You can look at some of the folks in the audience and see. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thanks again, everyone.
Well, I learned a lot.
Uh-huh.
So I think I know a hell of a lot more.
Free stuff is work.